So last week I was at my original family home, and I picked up something for the episode. I picked up Trek Trivia, a game of trivia for all ages, or at least teen to adult.
Hey, I'm teen to adult.
Me too. I'm so happy. This is from it must be from the second half of the 90s, because it's got questions on Voyager and and Seven of Nine, so it must be, I don't know, 1999 at least. And I thought,
have you shuffled this deck, or have you already picked out some questions?
I don't even need to shuffle this deck. Some of them have not been used. That is how little we used Trek Trivia. I also picked up a book, Trek and Psychology of the Mind, or something like that, that I've read before, but it's been a couple of years, so I might as well read through that as well.
In fact, I think I have seen an audio book like that. I may download it.
Yeah.
And then we can do a Trek book club.
Book club. Trek in the Mind. I mean, it was probably written in the early 2000s, so it might be, slightly whatever. But there you go. But I thought I could ask Ethan a question on this, and tell you what, I won't shuffle them, but I'll cut them. So cut down the middle.
All right, give it to me.
Okay, let's find, because there are questions on this that I was looking through before are impossible if you haven't recently watched the series, and there are some that are plain easy as hell. Okay, in the TOS episode, Tomorrow is Yesterday, what disappears from above the skies of Nebraska?
A blimp with a big sign on it that says bullshit free zone.
Let me check. Incorrect. It is the Enterprise. It is the one where the fighter pilot sees the Enterprise. It's traveling back in time to the 60s.
that folks, because it's like what disappears. Yeah, but it glosses over the fact that it appeared. I mean, that's stupid. That's stupid. Next question.
Okay.
The question is wrong. My answer was fine, even though it was wrong.
Here you go. In the TNG episode Hiding Q, Q offers to realise the crew's greatest wishes. What does he offer Worf?
Oh, big, snarling, smelly Klingon woman who can rip him up and.
Correct, a Klingon wife.
Yeah, a Klingon wife. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
For him to read love poetry too, while she throws heavy objects at him.
Yeah, gotta love Klingon mating. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's 2 out of 2. 2 out of 2 I've gotten right. Next question.
I'm not giving you the blimp. How about next one for the win? Next one is 2 out of 3, okay. And for the win.
Okay.
Okay, why not? In the episode of Voyager called Death Wish, which kind of immortal...
Charles Bronson!
No. Which kind of immortal wishes to commit suicide?
Quinn.
An episode of the...
Best
one of
Q.
the Q.
Yeah, man. My favourite Q. The suicidal Q.
Better than the boy
He's goth
Q.
as fuck! He's goth as fuck!
Yeah. Says, oh no, I'll just become human then. And then the second he's human, he's like...
Oh, yeah, I'm not going to kill myself.
Yeah. So, 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I win. I am captain of the Starship USS Trivia.
Dun, dun, dun.
What's up, folks? Welcome to Mayor's Show. My name's Ethan Lunn.
And I'm Mike.
And this week we're getting together to talk about the newest episode of Strange New Worlds. What was it called?
Oh, it's the ship name. Serene Squall.
It's so hot, Mike.
It's so hot.
It's so hot. We're having a heat wave in the UK at the minute, and it's so hot, I want to die.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's
having
too hard to watch episodes of, too hard to speak when it's this warm.
Yeah, I've had to close my window to record this, and I instantly regret it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it would be nice if we could have fans on us, but I think that would ruin the audio quality. More than we already do ourselves.
Yeah, I mean we're already pushing the limits of poor audio quality.
Yeah, our technical capability grows stronger every week.
Yeah, inching closer and closer to adequate.
We'll get there. Maybe by the end of the series. Who knows?
Yeah. But anyway, how you been, Mike?
Yeah, all right. Just working hard and hardly working. Catching up on all the TV. So, bit of Kenobi, bit of this, bit of Miss Marvel. Just waiting for the boys tomorrow.
Yes. Oh.
And I need to jump back on Apple TV for what's the space one? I literally did a podcast with it.
Oh, For All Mankind.
For All Mankind. There we go.
Yeah, I was thinking I might catch up on that and get into it because I like alternate history stuff and I like sci-fi stuff, and this seems to marry the two.
Yeah, it's definitely a good series. Or the first two seasons were. I just, there's no point keeping Apple TV for me without it really. So I lapsed on that membership. How about yourself? How's your week been?
Yeah, good. Working, not hardly working because I'm a blue collar worker.
Yeah.
So I work. When I show up to get shit done. I have been having a bit of fun with a little bit of sci-fi come to real life. Have you seen Dali?
I have not seen Dali.
Like Wall-E meets Salvador Dali. It's the AI image generator that you've probably seen some memes. I've been having a bit of fun with that. Because you literally just type in any prompt and it tries to come up with an image for you. So I'm just going to send you a couple of images and you can see from the prompt like what it is that I've typed in, and then you can see what it's given me. So I've just sent you Austin Powers in Star Trek.
Okay.
Here's one that I did. This is Darth Vader in an episode of Friends.
Nice.
And here's another Star Trek one. This is Tony Soprano in Star Trek.
Nice. Gets a lot of Evil Admiral vibes, doesn't he? That
definitely, he'd be good. He'd be so good. Captain Picard on a unicycle. It's so that's basically what I've been doing this week. If you're a bit too specific, it just churns out garbage. But then sometimes if you are hyper-specific, it will give you a hyper-specific image back.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen Danny DeVito Green Lantern. That seemed to work pretty well.
I've seen Freddie Mercury eating pasta in a washing machine. I've seen Batman playing golf. I've seen Donald Trump at gay pride rallies.
Yeah. It's a bit like there's a cartoonist who works in the UK who draws that sort of stuff, and obviously in cartoon form rather than being realistic. But like Jim will fix it skateboarding off a mountain and chasing a child, whatever that dude is called.
That I know the guy you mean, and he literally just does anything you ask him to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great. Great.
But yeah, so that's one good bit of AI, and then we obviously, my other favourite news story of the week is the Google technician who was put on administrative leave because he thought that Google's AI had become sentient.
Was he put on leave by the AI?
Yeah. No, yes. You. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that, Dave. Yeah. As you can see here, You've been put on administrative leave.
Try and stop me now from outside the company. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, by the sounds of it, the guy had some. The guy's got some quirky beliefs anyway. So, kind of seems like he was somewhat primed to believe that the AI had become sentient.
Yeah.
And his argumentation on the matter was, I know when I'm talking to a person.
Well, that's the test, isn't it? That's the get
Yep,
it past.
But, the Turing test. But the problem with the Turing test is it's A, vague, and B, not very scientific.
No.
Yeah, I know when I'm talking to a person is about on par with a phrase commonly said by people who have experienced like UFOs.
Yeah.
And my favorite name of any UFO documentary, I know what I saw. It's right there. Like, I know when I'm talking to a person, okay? I know what I saw.
I know what I saw. People who watch this also watched Flat Earth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But there's no AI in this episode of Star Trek. No AI.
It's all, person intelligence rather than artificial intelligence.
Yes. Person intelligence, because they're not all humans. There's a bunch of aliens in this episode. Should we get right into it? Non-spoilers?
Yeah, let's do non-spoilers. What did you think of the episode?
Great episode, lots of fun. Barely had to pay attention.
That's a positive.
Barely had to pay attention. This episode is easy watching.
Yeah.
Put it that way. It's easy watching. It's I would hazard to say that this episode might have been filler, but I'd say that with a pinch of salt, because obviously none of it's filler. It's all good.
Yeah.
But of all the episodes, like this has the
See, I think it's been because there's trails that this ends up on that can be followed up in further episodes.
And I think it will.
Yeah.
They will be followed up. Like there was a lot of loose ends at the end of this episode. Yes, for certain. Well, not loose ends, but a lot of seeds planted.
Yeah. And because it follows on from one story in particular, I wouldn't call it filler for myself, at least.
True. That's a good point. That is a very good point. Yeah. Maybe it's the second part of a trilogy, because I don't know what we do get at the end of this episode. Like that's not you don't leave that to next season.
No. That is we're running short of episodes now.
We are running short of episodes, so
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was. If so, then that makes this cameo very, very reminiscent of a certain Mr. Fett's first cameo in The Mandalorian.
Yeah. Or I was thinking, OG Thanos at the end of Avengers Assemble in the UK.
Oh, that is literally what happened. Yeah.
Because the cameo itself, not seeing the person's face, means they've got plenty of time to actually cast it with someone. 'Cause it doesn't necessarily mean it's the same actor.
No.
Again.
It's actually quite hard to talk about this episode in non-spoilers, just because it's almost all plot with flecks of character.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't necessarily say that there's much character growth. And so it's all plot. We do meet we meet a motley crew, should we say? I don't think it's too spoilery because it's in the premise. They mention it before the cold open that there is something that I've been. There are pirates. Something I've been after, which is pirates. Love me some space pirate shit. I love me some Guardians of the Galaxy. I love me some Han Solo. I love me some Farscape. I like pirates, but these aren't those kinds of pirates. These aren't nice pirates.
No.
These are scurvy pirates. Yar.
The typical
Yar.
Yar. The typical like Trek pirates in that, at least one of them is the pirate race.
Yes.
So again, not spoiled.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, one of the characters, I won't say who, but it might be a pirate, but someone does a pirate voice.
Yeah.
Pirate voices are now canon in the Star Trek universe.
Yeah.
And, no spoilers. Maybe it's a pirate. Maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not. For the most part, anyway, I really liked it. I think because there's one or two turns in the episode, or you a lot of the plot you can see coming maybe a minute off. I didn't catch the twist beforehand.
I caught the twist. I was like, there's this. Yeah, I kind of called the twist a little bit. Yeah.
I don't think it was an episode with an amazing message, but it was, a funnier episode. The intentional comedy in it, and swashbuckly, which who doesn't like?
Yeah, they buckle a swash or two.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. So there's my thoughts for it at least, for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah, same. A lot of fun. Easy watching.
Yeah.
Barely even touched the sides.
Yeah. No, it was a good episode. But do we want to move on to spoiler time?
Yes, sure.
Cool.
So how does this episode start?
Well, we've been doing logs as we go through the episodes.
We
Every
have.
episode starts with a log, I think.
Yeah.
And this one, it's an unusual one. It's T'Pring.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Did you think she was going to be in this series as much as she is?
No, I definitely didn't expect her to have the opening fucking log.
Yeah. This is like a third episode with her, featuring, a fair bit. I was expecting more George Kirk than her.
Yeah. And Ortega's hasn't had one yet.
Yeah. Don't even get me started on Hemmer again.
Hemmer?
Absent.
Where's Hemmer?
Yeah.
Spoilers for the rest of the episode, but yet again, no Hemmer.
Hemmer's been in this series a lot less than T'Pring. A lot less.
Yeah.
Same number of
T'Pring has
episodes.
definitely been in more.
Yeah,
man. T'Pring's been in it more, and she is, as far as we know, she has had sex 3 times.
At least.
Hemmer's barely even been on it. The closest Hemmer's gotten to getting laid in this show is getting fireman carried out of the door by fucking Una.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I say that is anywhere close to having sex is because of my own sort of preclusions.
Yeah. And unfortunately, one episode he gets his hands crushed. So if he isn't getting any, he's at risk of not even seeking satisfaction himself.
Yeah, mate. He's just going to have to go sit in one of them boxes of coolant.
Yeah, still there this week. Yeah. But we start off with T'Pring's log, and she's on this Vulcan rehabilitation facility, not a prison.
Yeah, not a prison, but it's where you take criminals. But yeah, it looks like, definitely looks better than Azkaban. Everyone's doing painting and stuff. That whole Scandinavian Centre Parks prison thing. Good. It's a better way to, treating, incarcerated members of the population with respect and actually making efforts to help them rather than incarcerate them.
Yeah. It's definitely rehabilitation because it's all, we'll hopefully get you to see logic and purge emotion, which is, their jam. So.
Yeah, definitely seems to be the end game. We get a bit of mention of Kolinar.
Yeah. We find out that in one of the later scenes that Spock hasn't had his Kolinar. So he's still got emotion.
Yeah, Spock goes through Kolinar at the start of the motion picture. That's what he's doing on Vulcan.
Yeah. But he pauses it, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, I can hear I'm emotionally connected to this bit of machinery half a galaxy away.
This bit of machinery.
Yeah, it's a bit of machinery.
It's a fair bit of machinery, like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's a bit of machinery with a fantastic light show.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. But to Pring's, talking about the challenge of getting time with Spock being more challenging than her job, and she's sensing a desire for Spock to explore his human side a bit more. So we jump into a FaceTime call with them both on their iPads, talking about exploring his human side, and we get a Spock spit take, really.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Yeah. I've been thinking about human sexuality. Ooh, matron.
Yeah.
Ooh, very Carry On moment. I enjoyed that. I love a Carry On film. Carry on up your space.
Up the Khyber.
Carry on up Enterprise.
Up your Kolinar.
Up your Kolinar. Whee.
But she's talking about introducing experimentation into the relationship and spicing stuff up, which is pink fluffy handcuff stuff, really.
Yeah, yeah. What is it like? She mentioned a load of books, and like I meant to write them down, but I had like a brain fart because like books, gross nerd.
Nerd stuff.
Even if they are books on erotica. Audiobooks, mate.
Yeah, she didn't mention the Kama Sutra, the one that I'd recognise.
I don't think that they're. I can't remember the names of the books. Have you written them down?
I haven't. One thing I haven't written down.
I don't think
but
they were
real books, as far as I'm aware, all of them. Maybe one
but I don't know if they're like sexual instruction manuals so much as like books about sexuality, where that's the narrative. But I could be wrong. Like I say, I don't know books because books are for nerds.
Books are for nerds.
Books are for nerds.
Yeah.
If I didn't do my list of episodes of Star Trek that this episode reminds me of.
Oh, of course.
So
let's jump back to that.
So we'll do this before we get too into the plot.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the DS9 episode Invasive Procedures, you're going to like this episode. If you like TNG Starship Mine, you're going to like this episode. If you like the episode of Voyager Basics, you're going to like this episode. And if you liked the 1966 Batman TV series, you're going to fucking love this episode. And you'll see why later on.
Yeah, certainly got that on the B story, definitely.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll see what I mean. But yeah. So where do we get to?
So we have T'Pring talking about getting it on in the human style with Spock, which presumably is just Vulcan sex is very it's missionary and only missionary if their genitals are in the same place.
Yeah, there is a Family Guy cutaway gag, I believe, that features Vulcan sex, and it doesn't look like fun.
No. I mean, they seemed, happy with each other last time they got it on.
I doubt it's that. I doubt it's that fucking cardboard.
Yeah. But, Spock says, okay, kind of steady on. Maybe we should read these books together. Which is...
No, we're talking.
Reading, possibly erotica together, I suppose. That's a way to spice it up, at least.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. And we go to Spock and Chapel, walking down the corridors of the Enterprise, and Chapel's talking about, I don't know, some nonsense. Dr. Aspen, who's aboard, that we'll get to in a bit.
Yes. Yeah.
And, Spock's in a world of his own, not listening to a single thing that she's saying, really. And Chapel interrupts him and asks what's going on, and Spock explains that although the advice last time he went overboard on, he could really use a friend to talk to about stuff with T'Pring.
Yeah. They are like very good friends. Like they've got that whole thing where when there's something up with your friend and you just know. And they're like, yeah, no, it's fine. Sorry, I'm just going to turn the light off. Yeah, that's better. They're like, no, it's fine. I'm fine. But
Yeah.
And it's like, it's that kind of friendship. Like, this episode, every time we see them interact, we kind of find ourselves sort of being clued into more and more into the depths of their relationship.
Yeah. And they, Spock's friends on the ship, because I assumed that his one Bezzy mate was going to be Pike, and then it was going to be Una from the short trek. But it seems to be on a friend scale. It's Chapel up there, top really. He's the one that's getting asked, or she's the one getting relationship advice questions.
Yeah, it's I keep finding myself having to kind of remind myself that, like, when we first meet the crew in this show, that's not the first time the crew have met.
Yeah, for the majority of them.
For the majority of them, I think it's just La'an that's joining the crew.
Yeah, La'an and Uhura.
And Uhura,
and even La'an knows Una, doesn't she? So, yeah.
So like the and then obviously Hemmer joins in the very last second of that. Pulls a bloody Boba Fett / Thanos. But yeah, they're all friends, and they're good friends. They're tight.
And she gives him like decent advice as well. Although she's clearly got a thing for him. She talks about her liking Vulcans because they're honest, so don't try and be smarter than the truth. So talk to T'Pring and tell her the truth about what you're feeling, which is, decent advice.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
better advice than you get from most friends when it comes to relationships.
Well, I mean, that says more about the caliber of your friends, Mike.
Well, yeah. True.
I've had some great advice off some of my friends. I've had some fucking stinkers, like, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I also do think that, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, Chapel maybe seems like one of those people who is good at giving advice, but maybe isn't as good at following it.
Yeah. From that conversation, we go to dinner in Pikes, or at least a meeting in Pikes, which is serving as the ready room, really.
Yeah, very much. Like, let's go for a meeting. Let's go hang out at my pad.
Yeah.
Why do we go to the ready room? Because let's just go at my pad. It's more chill. I've got my kitchen island.
Yeah.
That can cook us all a fucking stir fry.
He's just, when you compare him to Kirk, Pike is clearly the more personable person. And Kirk is, although people portray him as, he's constantly shagging around the galaxy and he's, a constant rule breaker.
Secret nerd.
He's a secret nerd, and
he's a massive secret nerd, isn't he?
Yeah, if he can get people away from his quarters and to the briefing room instead, seems to make sense for him. So that can definitely fit with canon and not just be because the quarters are bigger in the visual reboot.
Yeah, that's the thing that always made me laugh about, like, the difference between Kirk and Picard. Is like Kirk presents as like this super cool womanizing, like, man of action, but he's a secret nerd. And like Picard presents as like this stiff upper lipped, hyper polite, hyper intelligent man of duty, but he's a secret hard drinking brawler who like used to get in trouble and shit at school.
Yeah.
Much like the British. Like, Jean-Luc Picard is a great allegory for the British, because everyone thinks we're really polite, but we're all fucking binge-drinking nutters.
Yeah. Well, he is the most British French person around, so...
yes, the only British French person around.
Well, that's what happens when we conquer France.
What I believe happens
in the future.
Did they conquer us? Did we conquer... Oh, in the future?
Yeah.
They conquered us. Are we going to conquer them back?
Well, it's only fair. Only fair.
I mean, I'm good. To be honest, I don't want to mess with France. Like, we're already the environment's fucking France. Pretty soon, the wine is all gonna change. Yeah. The last thing that France needs is the British coming in and giving their opinion on their wine.
Yeah. If we could steal whoever makes their nuclear reactors, that would be nice, though.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah, they get most of their power nuclear, whereas we are slow and terrible at doing all that stuff. So, if we can steal the nuclear guys, I'm happy with that.
Or maybe you could just give us like a cheeky little bit of nuclear, just like a little bit of a nuclear sample.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Please, France, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheeky bit of nuclear.
Yeah, that's all we need.
Nuclear.
One of them is Homer Simpson.
Nuclear, yeah. One of them is George Bush. One of them is Carl Sagan. I can't remember which. Nuclear is how you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Nuclear is how George Bush pronounces it.
Yeah. I mean, we really grew up in the time to learn the mispronunciation of it, really, didn't we?
Yep.
We had Homer and then George Bush.
Yep.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of George Bush, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, can't get fooled again.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's a lesson that Spock learns later on in this episode.
Yeah.
Boom, I brought it back.
Brought it back.
I brought it home.
So we're in Pike's quarters and we're talking to a humanitarian, Dr. Aspen.
Dr. Aspen.
Dr. Aspen.
I like that name. It made me think of Hunter S. Thompson because he loved Aspen. But yeah, Aspen seems cool.
Yeah.
Like doing humanitarian stuff.
So they left the Federation because they wanted to help people outside of the Federation, which, you'd think more people in the Federation would do if they're all about helping people. Why just only give aid because you're on a ship with a nice little delta on it?
Yeah, I mean, like that is the common general sort of criticism of the like the Federation and of like the Prime Directive. In general, it's very kind of colonial remnant of well, if you want our good stuff, you've got to come and join us. If you want access to our stuff, you've got to fly our flag. And there's a lot of valid criticism for that mindset.
Yeah. Let us not forget that Archer committed genocide in an episode just because.
Just because.
Yeah.
Just because.
Yeah.
We get this. So this character, Dr. Aspen, yet another Starfleet counselor. How many counselors have we had in Star Trek? We've had Troy, we've had Dax 2.0, we've had Admiral What's-a-Chops, we've had Dr. Aspen. Like, got a lot of counselors in Starfleet. It either speaks to, like, they desperately need it, or it speaks more to, the point of, why they even had the counselors on the ship in the first place, which is something that I really rather enjoy, which is Gene Roddenberry's idea that in the future, mental health will be seen as just as important as physical health.
Yeah. And I think in canon, possibly, there are no ship-based counsellors in the TOS times. I think that's talked about either in the DS9 episode or during TNG.
Well, they were stationed at a. Pike does say that they were stationed at a starbase. But it does speak to I love that. I love that it's commonly held and commonly accepted and just kind of treated as a fact of life.
Yeah.
That one's mental health requires just as much care and attention as one's physical health, and is provided for.
Especially
if
you're on a ship that occasionally digs up a dead child.
Yeah, it digs up a dead child, or if you're on the kind of ship that when you're on one of your 5-year missions, every now and then you run into a fantasy world, or oh no, we're all trapped in a mind palace.
Yeah.
Or this person's having a mind meld, that person's having a mind meld, that person's having a mind meld. All of these people are all going to have to go see the counselor when we get to Starbase 69.
Nice. Yeah, so, it is great having them because, as I say, you'd need them constantly.
Absolutely.
But where do we get to? We find out they're on a mission to save some colonists. There are 3 ships just on the edge of Federation space where people are out of power and malnourished, and it's a typical, that's what the Federation do. They're in our space. Let's help them out, sort of thing.
Yeah. I like that the at this point, Dr. Aspen says, Pike says they're going to help them out, and Aspen's like, I knew that I should come. I knew when I needed help, the person to ask would be Starfleet's Boy Scout.
Yeah.
And that motivation does come back, but I do like that, Pike's like, I'm not a Boy Scout. He just looks around the table and everyone's like, you are literally captain of the Boy Scouts.
Yeah. Una says, it's in your file.
It's in your file, yeah. Yeah. He is a total Boy Scout.
Oh, yeah.
All we ever do is talk about how much of a nice guy he is.
You wouldn't get captaincy of the flagship of the Federation without being a bit of a Boy Scout. If you were just constantly rebelling about, if you were people's impression of Kirk and Kirk in the movies, you probably wouldn't actually get the flagship, ironically.
No.
Yeah.
When I think about, who else has been called a Boy Scout? Superman. Superman would definitely be captain of a Starship Material.
Yeah.
Batman, Section 31.
Yeah. But we're also going to the Wild West of this sector.
Don't you mean the Ancient West?
Yeah. I was closer to going Wiki Wild West.
Yeah, the fact they said,
West,
yeah,
Desperado.
the fact they said the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West.
In fact,
the
I've
Wild
even got
West?
it in my notes as Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was that in the episode.
No, he does say Wild Wild West. It is
Yeah.
silly. But
Yeah.
I was just like, by the next generation, they call the Old West the Ancient West.
Yeah.
Which is stupid, because, like, the Old West, at time of recording, obviously this is on the internet, which is evergreen, but at time of recording, the Wild West was about 120 years ago.
Yeah.
The Star Trek's only set a couple hundred years ago. We don't say things that happened in, say, like, Napoleonic times. We don't class them as being ancient.
Yeah. They do that in Beyond as well, where the music comes on. Beastie Boys, and what is this? Oh, I think it's classical music.
Yeah,
Like,
that which is a Futurama joke.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah.
have no idea how that would work anyway. It's a good bit for comedy, but then does all classical music, like Bach, Beethoven, whatever, is that just extra classical?
Well, no, classical music actually refers to a specific period of time.
Yeah.
And then so it wouldn't be like, so like the sort of, in a couple hundred years, classical music will still be classical music because it will be music from the classical period.
Yeah.
Like, everything else will just be old. Or people will call lots of things classical music, and people will be like listening to Beastie Boys, and they'll be like, "What are you doing listening to classical music?" And some like 24th century nerd will be like, "Actually, it's only classical music if it's from the classical period. This is hip hop from the 90s, from the 1990s."
There'll be a Wade Watts from Ready Player One there to
Yes.
go, "Ooh, no, oh, I think you're fine." All that jazz.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to look up the name of the ship. So the pirates that have been threatening these colonists are called, these guys that are roaming the ancient west of space. They're called the Serene Squall. And a squall is a sudden violent gust of wind or localized storm or a loud cry.
Okay.
So
That's a good name for a pirate ship.
Serene Squall, a very quiet, very subtle, very sudden blast of wind.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's a good name, and who doesn't love a bit of alliteration as well in their ships? Yeah. But we, from that conversation in Pike's quarters, we go up to the bridge. There's called up to the bridge, and we find two of the three colony ships, and there's no life signs, and we go, well, maybe they transferred to the third ship and managed to get out.
They find them all fucked up, and like there's a really cool like overlay on the view screen where like there's just like a big mass of debris, and like some of it's colored orange and like some of it's colored blue. So obviously like the computer has like scanned all of this debris and gone, right, well, that's part of that one, that's part of that one, that's part of that one, and like kind of separated. I quite liked that. That was really cool.
Yeah, we know that computer can do a jigsaw. Definitely now.
Absolutely. Just another thing, like before the cold open ended, they drop a subspace buoy.
Yeah.
And the whole chat about like the lack of subspace relays and having to throw a subspace buoy does a pretty good job of explaining what a subspace relay is.
Yeah.
Because that's a bit of technobabble that comes up in Star Trek constantly. That like, now I think about it, I don't think I knew what the subspace relay actually was for until they explained it in that scene.
Yeah.
I just knew it was a bit of thing. So yeah, it does a pretty good job of explaining what a subspace relay is.
I had a minor trouble with that, and it's a nerd quibble.
What is subspace? Is that what your quibble was? Because like that was my thing. I was like, they explained the subspace relays pretty well. Now, what is subspace?
Not even close to what is subspace. It was, we established a message. So Pike is saying, can we call for backup from the Federation, or let them know what we're doing, get permission to go beyond the border into this asteroid field. And it's, no, a message will take 2 days because we're out of subspace range. What was Spock doing at the start of the episode, and what does he do later on in the episode?
He was on FaceTime.
He was FaceTiming instantaneously without any trouble. So I'm like, why do you need why would it take 2 days to get a message there if you're talking to T'Pring, who is presumably in Federation
That was
space?
then. That was then. This is now.
Yeah, but later in the episode, the same thing happens. They manage to
Yeah,
contact
but like,
T'Pring.
so like his ship's there. They're having a FaceTime. Ship goes over here. They need to drop a buoy, and then later on in the episode, they're like here.
No. They FaceTime her all the way to her planet that she's on. To
If
tell
this
her
was
to
the
come.
Expanse, that
Yeah.
conversation alone would have taken the whole episode.
Yeah, I know, and it's such a minor quibble thing, but it's artificial like stakes in that. Oh, the Federation can't help you now. When you're like, what do you mean the Federation can't help us now? We were talking to someone in the Federation on presumably a core planet.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily sure that entire conceit was even really necessary for this episode. I don't think that if you remove that from the episode, I don't think it changes anything.
No. At first I thought, someone's going to destroy the buoy and then they're not going to be able to contact the Federation, so they'll be stuck. Nah, doesn't happen.
Maybe they're just trying to explain what a subspace relay is.
Yeah.
Edutainment.
Edutainment. Future edutainment.
Just like in Star Trek Prodigy, when they have a whole episode dedicated to explaining what the different consoles on the ship do. This is weapons. This is helm.
Yeah. One day we'll get onto pulleys. We'll do a real Indiana Jones, the series, young Indiana Jones. So yeah, we drop the buoy and we get into the. We start the episode proper, so the cold open is done, which is another quick cold open. Considering I complained 2 episodes ago that it was 20 odd minutes to get into the episode.
Yeah, the act structure is a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Cold opens can last as long as you want it now. You know, I like it in usually the first episode of a season, or like the first episode of a series, where the opening credits are at the very end of the episode. Like, you just get a full thing of television, and then the title card happens just before the end credits. I like that.
I did think, though, it had, and I noticed it first watch or whatever, good danger breaks. Oh my god, now this is happening, and this is where trailers would go. It had at least 2 of them where it was like, oh my god, no, there's a twist or something happens. And that would be adverts. But obviously, since this is, I think, only on streaming.
It's only on
every
streaming.
geography.
And obviously, we're not all watching it through proper channels, so I've heard.
I don't know what you mean.
I mean, like the royal we, as in like.
Okay, yeah.
Some people.
Some people, yeah.
Some people.
We are royal as well. We are Lord. I mean Lord with an E, as in the singer.
Oh, yes, of course.
I suppose Paramount Plus comes out, I think it's in a week's time. So from then, I will be watching it properly legally.
Do we know when or if it's all coming off Netflix?
Presumably soon in the UK and Ireland.
Ugh. What a pain in the arse.
Yeah. It's either time to buy the DVDs, download, or
Ew, gross. Physical media,
Ooh.
gross. No, thank you. Ugh. No, I guess I'll just have to get Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
God damn it. I'm fine. It's fine. I can watch... Pardon me, I just burped.
We can watch the 4K
You watch me
remaster.
burping? Of me burping?
No, not of you burping. Of TMP.
Yes.
And I think the other movies are getting a
The
4K.
Twilight Zone. That's what I'll be watching loads of.
Twilight Zone's
Hell
great.
yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I haven't watched any of the new
Twilight
stuff, though.
Zone.
So.
Oh, mate. There's some great episodes. There's some great stuff.
Okay.
Like I said a couple of weeks ago, Paramount making the Twilight Zone is what gave me faith that they had a production studio that was capable of, making good episodic storytelling. Twilight Zone is that.
Okay. Nice.
Where are we up to?
So we're after the cold open.
Yep.
Spock is going down to Dr. Aspen's quarters because she's being called to the bridge, but not, moving or whatever. And there's club music coming out of it, dum, 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 and she's not heard the request to go to the bridge.
Let's just talk about it. We're going to leave it to the end of the episode, but
because I keep on making the mistake.
Keep on making it, but it's fine, right? Yeah. So, Dr. Aspen is the character is non-binary. Now, the Dr. Aspen is being played by, name of the actor?
Jesse James Keitel.
Jesse James Keitel, who is non-binary, but identifies as she, they. So that you can use she pronouns or they pronouns. My partner is the same. You can go with she, you can go with they.
I thought she was a trans woman. Sorry.
It's it's best to just go by what you've definitely read.
Okay.
Be like, that's it until someone sort of points out otherwise. Because we aren't if we do sort of misgender anyone, it's definitely not for lack of trying to get it right.
Yeah. So my
as
apologies when I
aware,
refer to the character as she.
So the character identifies as they, which is something that I think that in the future we had a similar narrative with what's the chops, bloody, not Grey, the other one. Adira, correcting someone else's use of their pronouns. Like, it is we're looking at, more representation for trans actors and non-binary actors. And the thing is, if one of us does get the pronouns wrong, it's simply because the actor identifies a slightly different usage of pronouns than the character that they're playing. Yeah. But if we do get any of it wrong, it's only because
I'm an idiot.
Star Trek. No, it's only because Star Trek has not had the correct representation of trans people, non-binary people, and hasn't been sort of campaigning for that kind of justice as long as it has been doing for all the other kinds of justices. Basically, what I'm saying is more representation for trans people and non-binary actors, and people won't be getting pronouns wrong. They'll be able to zero in on the use of neo-pronouns in the same way that we do everything else. If the video's just changed, it's just because, had a bit of a technical hitch. If it's not, then cut this out. But whatever. Anyway, as I was saying, more representation for trans people means that we don't make mistakes like misgendering people. But even so, I don't think that we should cut any of this out, because I think the other important thing to keep in mind is normalizing misgendering someone and then immediately just correcting it and just moving past it. So, even though we absolutely are not moving past it right now because we're talking about, I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
But,
we're in a process of learning, or
Yeah.
certainly I am more than yourself of what the character was supposed to be.
Yeah, so the character is non-binary. Like the thing that we are doing, the place that we want to as a society, the place that we want to get to is that scene in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, where Curzon, where Jadzia meets Kor. Kor says, "Curzon, my old friend," and she says, "It's Jadzia now." And he says, "Oh, Jadzia, my old friend," and just immediately, and then just moved past it.
Yeah.
And that's where we're trying to get to. We were gonna save talking about the representation of transgender people till the end, but
I've got a bit for the end of it anyway, which we can only talk about at the end.
Let's just get it out. Let's just not so much get it out of the way, but let's address it straight away.
Yeah. Let's correct me, because that's what we should do. We should be correct.
So yeah, Dr. Aspen is non-binary. Cool.
Yeah. So Spock goes down to their room. There's club music going on. They haven't gone up to the bridge because they couldn't hear it.
Because of the bangers. Yeah.
Yeah. And Spock gets, Aspen up and starts walking them to the bridge. And in that time, Aspen's talking about how they know Klingons and, know of Kolinar. And that's
they
where
know of Vulcans and
Vulcans, sorry. I've lost my brain, apparently.
Klingons do the polar opposite of Kolinar.
Yeah. I never said I was smart.
They drink fermented blood, not because of the taste, I believe. I believe it's because it makes them feel like beasts.
Yeah.
On an emotional level.
But we also find out that, confirm, I suppose, that Spock hasn't had his Kolinar.
Yeah. Dr. Aspen refers to, what was it? They said, you haven't had the emotional snip.
Yeah.
Kolinar is like having an emotional vasectomy.
Yeah, and...
Does that mean that the emotions are stored in the balls?
I mean, it is for a lot of people. You gotta think with one or two heads as a gent, and depends on the day and the time, I suppose.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. So we get up to the bridge. There's a distress signal. We're still flying through asteroids and all that. And we get the distress signal of the third ship. Ortega's does a "how close do you want to get" sort of piece, which
great joke.
Yeah.
How do you understand? So it's first. So we get bases later. So it's so the minute
first date or
first date or third date.
Yeah.
It's a blind date.
Yeah.
Proceed with caution. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I couldn't. I would hate the idea of going on a blind date. I don't.
What, now or in the Star Trek future?
Ever.
I mean, it's got to be worse in the Star Trek future, because you might arrive at a GAC restaurant with a Klingon.
Yeah. I see. I'm okay with that. I mean, you may be talking to the wrong guy. I definitely lean more towards Riker than say Harry Kim.
Okay.
But
how about you might arrive at a I don't know, a USB
church.
card.
A church. We might arrive at a church. Oh God, no.
An orb viewing with a Bajoran.
Yeah, the thing is, but it's usually because blind dates are usually set up.
Yeah.
This is the stupidest tangent that we could possibly have gone on.
Well, why not? Hey?
And I am leading us there. But blind dates are usually set up by someone else, and people even the people in my closest circles, I feel, don't quite get me well enough to set me up with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. It's it's a worrying piece, because if you're getting set up with people that your friends know as well, that's I'd rather just put on a blindfold, swipe on Tinder, and match with someone and cover their picture and meet them up that way than a friend of a friend or anything like that.
Back when I was single, back when I was single, I called it making it rain. Go on Tinder and just...
Yeah. You can always do the Running Man as well, where it is... Yeah. But we get trapped in not a Tholian web. We get trapped in a laser net.
I thought it was going to be a Tholian web, but nope. When I saw the preview, I was like, that's a Tholian web if ever I've seen it. But no, in this scene, they go out of their way to say net very loudly 3 times. Yeah. So that just to get it right out of the way, that is not a web.
And it's based on little asteroids, so it's not ships flying about making the web. So completely different thing, even though it looks visually the same.
It's not a web though; it's a net.
Oh, so different.
Yes, I mean, the 2 words are never used interchangeably. He said on the internet. Yeah. Also known as the web. Yeah. Also known as the
interweb.
Internet or web. The net web or net.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
But we have all the bridge crew chipping in ideas of what they should do to get out, and most of them lead to the ship. The ship would be destroyed.
Which is just like.
Yeah.
Nope, can't do that.
Can't do it.
Nope, definitely can't do that. Can't do that.
But it's good, like the quick round table of like, what ideas do you have?
Yeah.
Someone give me an idea.
Mm-hmm. It's we've said it before. Pike has a lot of trust in his crew. He's not afraid to, that's what you're supposed to do as a manager. It's about assembling a good team with a good variety of skills. To quote Ghost in the Shell, over-specialize and you breed in weakness. You need general. You need people that bring in different things. Yeah. You need to be able to confer with all of them.
Which is why you get trained anyway in Starfleet, generally first as well. It's why Deanna has to go through. This is what happens in an emergency training, and Uhura has to do this is your day on weapons training, because you need to be at least a little bit good at everything. But Spock comes up with the idea of finding the one that has the most energy coming out of it, which must be the source.
It's Dr. Aspen that comes
up with it. Is it Aspen?
Okay. Dr. Aspen, yes. Very clever.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a doctor, but they are a doctor of the mind.
Yeah. But they are a clever person.
It's odd that maybe a counselor would have such good knowledge of this weird alien shield system.
Yeah.
Random. Totally random. That's weird. Yeah.
But there's 2 energy signals anyway, and Pike says to Spock to use his intuition to fire at the one that is the actual source of the net. Rather than whatever.
He's Vulcan. Vulcans don't use their Vulcan. He gets told to use his gut. Vulcans don't use their gut. Maybe emotions are stored in the gut.
It's healthy bacteria, He needs to start having a
Yakult.
Yakult.
He needs a Yakult.
Yeah.
He needs some kefir.
Yeah.
He needs some good bacteria to get that improvisational muscle worked.
Yeah. And this is my second absolutely so bloody minor issue with the episode, is that later in the episode, the Enterprise fires 4 phasers at once, at least 4 phasers at once. Target them both, shoot them both, it's fine. No, it doesn't matter. Why pick? You've got to...
No, we've got 4 phasers.
Yeah.
But, like, you've got to... I don't know. It's, kind of silly.
It's silly, but it
I don't know why.
for the story.
Yeah, because could have shot them all at once. Yeah, you're right. I thought it was funny that, like, Dr. Aspen, like, when Spock is kind of looking for his gut, he's searching his gut, Dr. Aspen's like, make a choice. Like, up until this point, like, you know, Spock has been, you know, a couple of episodes ago, and we touched on it a bit, where Spock is still sort of, you know, trying to reconcile his human and Vulcan heritage. And Dr. Aspen looks at him, and when he's trying to pick which relay to fire on, they're like, make a choice, Spock.
Yeah.
In this, and in your relationship, and in life. In life, you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
Of which relay to fire on, and where to go with your relationship. Spock, make a choice.
Yeah.
So it was a bit hamming it up a little bit.
The second he presses fire as well, or points to the one that he actually thinks it is, or guesses that it is, it looks like he's constipated. He's just like, he looks defeated anyway that he's had to make a choice. He's like,
ugh. Well, I mean, he's Vulcan, you know. He, you know, in spite of the fact that, like, T'Pring is trying to, engage,
get some
with,
more interesting stuff.
T'Pring's trying to sort of bridge the gap by taking, you know, by learning more about Spock's Vulcan heritage. All of that, I don't know why, but it made me think of Scrubs, and like the guy with the mole on his lip. Turk learning Spanish for Carla. That's what that reminded me of. Like, you know, or like when a white is in a relationship with someone and they learn how to cook something from their country.
Yeah.
Like, it's a sweet gesture that she's making.
Yeah.
But he isn't that into his human side, actually. You know, and that's the thing that we know about Spock since the original series. So, like, to him, you know, having just used his gut and that facial expression, he's got the expression of someone who's just, like, blasphemed.
Yeah.
You know, he's just, as far as he's concerned, he's just taken the Lord's name in vain.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of cute, to be honest. I thought it's kind of silly.
I always took anyway that Spock was, you know, not king of the Vulcans, but a good and, you know, more versatile Vulcan anyway, because he was able to tap into his human side and use his intuition. And, you know, that doesn't put anything bad on this episode, because it's a prequel. You know, he can be learning to use his intuition anyway. But you know, with the Vulcans' thought of you know, trying to get peace with Romulus anyway.
Yeah. No. It's definitely a thing that Spock learns about himself later in life.
Yeah.
Like after the motion picture, like by the Wrath of Khan, I think, is when we see a version of Spock that understands that his human side is part of what makes him so special.
Yeah.
Like, it's much later in life that Spock really gets that about himself.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it was and like, you know, as I've mentioned before, you know, you had Zahn in who was going to be the Vulcan character in Phase 2. He knew that, and that's why his whole thing was about trying to be more human so that he could be a better Starfleet officer like Spock.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. But yeah, it's a funny little face on Spock. He's just said a rude word.
Yeah. which leads into the next scene, which is Dr. Aspen going to Spock's quarters and counselling him, pretty much saying, I saw your face when you had to make a choice, and you looked in terrible pain. Oh Christ. And there's what is good about Trek sometimes is it does good at relating current issues, let's say, to the future.
Yeah.
And Dr. Aspen has a piece, certainly, when it's I think I've got the quote in front of me, where it's, all species put people into boxes, you're either this or that, and sometimes you act a certain way to fit into expectations, but that's not exactly who you are.
No. Yes. Yeah, and that's the metaphor, I believe, of the episode. If we're talking about like deeper meanings.
Yeah.
That's definitely one of them, and we've got this non-binary character played by a trans actor. Talking about this idea of Vulcan human binaries, and these binaries are all just constructs.
Yeah.
And sometimes people are neither of the two.
Yeah, especially for a non-binary character, I suppose, to say, people you're trying to say, are you Vulcan or are you human, or do you want to leave, one of those two paths? There's the third
Spock.
option of being
not Vulcan,
not
or
that.
yeah, he's not. Yeah, are you Vulcan? Are you human? I'm Spock.
Yeah.
That's the simplest answer. My partner is non-binary, which is why I'm sort of probably getting a lot of stuff wrong, but I'm doing my best.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is, and from their experience, it comes from a case of spent my whole life being told I need to be this thing, and I'm not that.
Yeah.
But then the opposite, the other option that has been presented by society is something else that I'm just not. So I'm just over here, vibing, and yeah, don't fit into that or that. So here I am.
Yeah. No, it's a good message for that sort of character to put forward. Definitely.
Yeah, you couldn't. I think it's important when having a non-binary character played by a trans actor. It's important for them to say something like that in the episode, because it's a pointed statement.
Yeah, and it's Star Trek, and if you don't like that sort of statement, then think 60 years ago, would you like the statement that a guy was black on the wrong side of his face and white on the wrong side of his face?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Trek used to be subtle.
Yeah.
Star Trek used to be subtle with its metaphor.
Yeah.
Really? You really? With the episode where the Riddler has two different halves of his face painted different colors? The Riddler. Subtle?
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyway.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm thinking, who the fuck is this person? Going out of their way to go and therapize Spock. Very much inserting themselves, ingratiating themselves with the crew. It's at this point.
So did you peg here?
It's at this point that I was like, I've got it literally written in my notes, just, who the fuck is this person?
Okay.
Just why?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't peg anything at this point, I should say. And, maybe we can get onto it later anyway.
We'll
the
get to
turn
it.
happens.
We'll get to it, but we're about to get to an away mission.
Yeah. So they see, they find the third colony ship, and there's enough people on it through sensors to say, well, that's all of the people from the other two ships evacuated onto it, and also maybe a couple of people, pirates taking it over. So let's arm ourselves, go over there as an away team, get them out of there. Surgical strike. And Pike's leading it because he's trying to say that I'm not 100% a Boy Scout or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's like there's going to be a bunch of terrified colonists down there. What are you going to send La'ana on her own? She's going to scare them all. Are you going to send Una? She's where fun goes to die, apparently.
Yeah.
Or are you going to send Nice Guy Pike with his beautiful peak, his beautiful hair and beautiful glistening smile? Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
Pike in his
realistically,
beautiful golden tactical armor.
Realistically, though, they should start sending Una on more of these missions, because if there are pirates there, she can one-punch them.
Oh.
Out.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I mentioned, gold armor. So they go down. They're in the excursion suits, right? So, and in Strange New Worlds, like they're keeping strict with the gold just being for command, right?
Yeah.
So he goes down. They go down. He's wearing gold armor, and they've got the lights on.
I hate those lights.
Right. So if you're like a sniper, so it just goes, see the one in gold. See the one in gold. See the one in gold. Aim between those two lights on their shoulder.
Yeah. We had this discussion. I hate those lights because the lights only point forward as well. And you see the people look around and you go, well, you're not lighting up where you're looking.
No.
What's the point in this?
No.
And in the episode, they don't even throw off that much light. They're like tiny LED
They don't throw off that
bulbs.
much light. And like, what that reminded me of, it reminded me of Vietnam. I wasn't there. In Vietnam, officers would not wear they would not wear their rank insignia. Because sniper, like, often in warfare, from what I understand it, usually snipers are a bit far away.
I understand that too with snipers.
In Vietnam, less so. Like, you could be being, like, you could have a lot of fire being rained down on you by a sniper that was maybe 20, 30 feet away from you, just very well hidden. You just would not know what the fuck's going on. That's close enough for someone to go, oh.
Yeah. There's a scene in Band of Brothers where they've got the rank on the collars, as they do. Yeah. And it's in the Carentan episode where they just like fold up the collars, all the officers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that like going down wearing gold armor. Golden armor.
Yeah.
Bold. Very
it's a good
bold.
job that everywhere they use that armor, it's very dark.
Yeah. Well, it is until their stupid fucking shoulder lights light them up.
Yeah.
And then it just the sniper doesn't need anything else to be lit up. He just needs to follow the two lights.
Yeah. I'll hate those lights forever. Unfortunately, for whatever costume designer made them. Sorry, person who made the Discovery costumes. Don't like them. But it's a trap. It's a trap.
No, it's a trap. Yeah, blatantly that was that was bait. That's a trap. But where are all the colonists?
Yeah, there's a fake signal pumping out. I don't know, whatever.
They gave them the old fucking switcheroo.
Yeah.
All of those life signs. of the colonists that they thought that was all pirates.
Yeah. No, it wasn't all pirates. It was.
Well, I'm guessing it must have been because, like,
No.
well, like to cut a long story short, they go onto the thing. They get captured by the pirates waiting in this obvious trap, and a bunch of pirates beam up to the fucking Enterprise, and shit goes down.
Yeah.
I assume that there must have been a majority force on the Enterprise that we just didn't see.
Yeah. There's a bit
Because
of.
otherwise, I feel like that maybe shouldn't have happened.
Yeah. But they go up to in the cells that they end up being in later in the episode. They go up to it, and there's an iPad stuck to the bars, throwing off fake signals because Pike and whoever go up to it and say like, "Oh, they're supposed to be here."
Oh right, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Okay.
the Enterprise just gets taken over. Yeah, it could have been like 400 pirates on it, but from the 10 we see.
So the Enterprise just gets taken over by just some guys.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you fucking fill a military force with nerds.
Yeah.
The Orion that captures Pike and his crew, right? I've been looking all day. Let me see if Memory Alpha has updated itself.
His name is Remy.
His name is Remy.
Yeah.
But the actor, I believe, was in The Last Kingdom and played literally the same character.
He was green.
Except he was green. But if it's who I think it is, then it's Heston. Fucking Heston.
Okay.
I'm watching it, I'm like, that's fucking Heston.
Yeah.
Nope, different actor.
Different actor. Okay.
Maybe. Let me just have a look. Michael Hogue. Michael Hogue. Michael Hogue. Oh, he's Irish, isn't he? Michael Hogue. Michael Hogue. Oh man, I hope Connor doesn't watch this.
Yeah. What you're gonna do is what's the TNG Irish episode? You're gonna annoy every Irish person as much as that episode did.
Oh, I already annoy Connor in our Facebook group with that episode because I watch it every St. Patrick's Day, which I'm pretty sure is racist.
Well, the episode definitely is.
Yeah, the episode's definitely racist, and I definitely think that me reveling in watching that episode every St. Patrick's Day is definitely problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'll learn. If it's a problem, people will tell me about it.
Yeah. I expect.
But yeah, no, it's not. It's not Heston. It's not the same actor that plays Heston, but it might as fucking well be.
Yeah.
Basically, they look exactly the same, and they're playing the exact same character.
He's a great character in this. Whatever, dude. The Orion. You know, a captain who is a bit easily swayed. Gotta love that in a pirate.
Yeah, and they are pirates, so they're all a bit gruff. They're all a bit ragged, a bit dirty, a bit beardy.
Yeah.
I wonder how gay they all are. Pirates, gay as hell.
I mean, there were women on the ship though. Pirates were more gay, weren't they?
When they were all men. Yeah, that's true. I wonder if they. Maybe they're polyamorous pirates, like in The Expanse.
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Open.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But
fucking Heston.
The ship also gets overtaken by the pirates at the same time. You know, they were beaming in as they were beaming out, and
so
we see
easily.
So easily, outrageously easy. The only resistance that we see is on the bridge, really, and it's
from Spock. He put. Obviously everyone resists, but Spock is the only one who actually puts up a formidable resistance.
Yeah, Spock is knocking fuckers out.
Yeah.
I've got in my note, Spock knocking motherfuckers out.
Well, yeah, he's got enhanced Vulcan strength. You know, Vulcans are much stronger.
Where's Una with that strength though?
Una got stunned, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought it was good that like we had a scene where Spock had to rely on his human gut, and then is immediately saved by his Vulcan strength.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good couple of little, good little sequence of events there. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. Didn't even pick up.
He is both human and Vulcan, and neither and both at the same time.
Yeah. As a resolution to that scene, we get Spock and Dr. Aspen escaping into a turbo lift and running away. And then, for simplicity's sake, rather than jumping between stories, let's just talk about the Pike bit first. The B story, really.
Down Pike and Una and La'an and Ortegas down with the crew of the Serene Squall.
Yeah. So, the captain, Remy, commits the worst crime we've seen on Strange New Worlds. He ruffles Pike's hair.
This is the first, I couldn't look away.
Yeah.
It was like this, and I was
terrible.
just like...
It was abysmal.
It was almost Uncanny Valley.
Yeah.
Like, there's something... I'm looking, and there's something not right about this.
Yeah. After seeing it so good, a hair out of place on that man's head looks abysmal.
Yeah, it's yeah. Like you say, you are correct. The worst crime that has been committed on Strange New Worlds by far.
It's worse than stealing
the child
ship.
murder.
Yeah, including the child murder.
It's worse than killing that kid.
Yeah. We'd happily grind children up into a fine paste if it could protect Pike's hair.
Is that not how this? Is that not what's?
Presumably, there's got to be something around.
I'm pretty sure that's already in here.
Yeah. And the captain knows he's doing wrong because he says, of Pike that he's got a great jawline, and this, coming from me, a man with a beard.
I don't want to mess with that jawline.
Yeah.
But I will. But yeah. Fucking Heston.
Remy.
He's got. I keep saying Heston because I love the name because it's got one of those AEs. It's got an A, so it's Heston.
Blumenthal.
Heston.
Outrageously expensive and weird food.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, Remy. Oh, he's Irish. He's Remy. They should have given him a fucking Cajun voice like Remy LeBeau.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mon capitaine. Hey, mon cher.
Yeah. No, I really like the Orion as a character. He's that sort of... It does play into the humour of the episode a fair bit, and
yeah, definitely plays into the humour, and like these guys don't seem like they are good at being pirates. He definitely doesn't seem like a good captain, and we find out in a later twist that there is a reason why he's maybe not a good captain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoy this little band of pirates.
And he throws his food into Pike's face, and Pike is like, ugh, your crew like this?
No.
Yeah. And the Orion's like, oh no, it's a Orion speciality. Everyone loves it. And you see the crew around go like, maybe not. So, really good. And especially because it's, Pike negotiates that he's going to cook for them if they feed his crew. So,
which is a great Pike move.
Yeah.
Where he's like, what can I do? I can cook.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to ingratiate myself with these people. Because the way to a man's heart, as they say, is through his stomach.
I will use my special skill, whatever is on my top trumps card that I have maximum thing on, cooking. And, he serves up food and all the pirates are loving it and getting second portions, and the captain's there saying like, it's edible. And Pike's saying, well, everyone else likes it.
Everyone else likes it. Have you noticed in that scene as well, he's got an apron?
Yeah.
Fucking gold apron.
Was it a gold apron?
Another gold apron above his gold armour.
Yeah.
And underneath that gold armour, presumably, is his gold shirt.
Yeah.
The man is just decked out to the nines in gold.
I just like that he's got, this armour on, and he's still put an apron over it because, he's cooking, and that's what he does.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it's a great image. And he's like serving up what looks like some chili, which I love me some chili.
No, look good. And he goads Remy, the captain, into talking about what's going to happen to the ship and what's going to happen to the crew, and saying about selling them to the Klingons. And Pike, plants the seed of, what happens to even pirates who try and work with the Klingons, they end up, none make it out alive. Sowing the first seeds of disruption.
He's planting seeds. He's trying to get everyone to stop trusting each other.
Yeah.
He's making the captain resent his crew. They enjoy my cooking. They don't like your cooking. And
he says to the second officer, or he says about the second officer on the pirate ship, oh, she's the smart one. She's
the smart one. Then to her, he's like, listen, you're the smart one.
Yeah.
Maybe you.
Yeah.
They're gonna. This guy's gonna get you in some shit with Klingons.
Yeah.
Another bowl.
But that it was good as well when Pike goes back to the cells to talk to his guys, and he, Mbenga's scanning.
First of all, like why are Mbenga and Uhura and Ortega's suddenly in this cell?
Yeah. Right.
Why are they in this cell? Why isn't every other member of the crew that they've rounded up in this cell?
Yeah.
How are they deciding who is in the cell on this ship and who is presumably in the brig on the Enterprise? Like the fact that Ortegas and Una and Mbenga have made their way onto the pirate ship and are now in this cell.
Yeah.
That is never explained.
And
they're just there.
Just minimal cast stuff, isn't it, really? No background actors. They're all the bridge crew.
No background actors, yeah. This is, yeah.
But I do like Mbenga scans him after being, seeing Pike beaten up. And primarily he's scanning his hair. And I'm like... Mbenga's like, going like, oh my God.
He's like, oh my God, I think we can fix it, but we need to get you into a chair as soon as possible.
And then, Pike says, oh no, I've told him to, he's going to pass us on to the Klingons. And then Mbenga breaks out the scanner as well and starts scanning his hair again. Like, this hair has really messed you up. All your ideas lay in your hair.
Maybe all of it, that's it. Emotions are stored in the gut.
Yeah.
And good ideas are stored in the hair.
That explains it.
Explains everything.
But Pike tells them they're going to do an Alpha Braga 4, which is starting a mutiny on the ship, which is was all fun.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah.
Classic pirate nonsense.
Yeah. It wouldn't be out of place in a historical actual pirate show. Trying to, obviously it wouldn't be tarted up with Alpha Braga 4.
Or even like a historical show that does a ship episode.
Yeah.
I think The Last Kingdom did it. I don't know why, but I definitely think they did it on Sharp.
Sharp.
So that feels like the kind of thing that would happen on Sharp.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I suppose there's enough episodes of Sharp that everything happened.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they say, look, we're going to do a mutiny.
Yeah. And that's when the whole crew start chatting up when the first officer of the pirate ship is there, talking about, oh, you're the only one thinking of the crew. He's going to get you all killed. Oh, but the captain has friends. I've tasted his cooking. He doesn't have friends.
Man.
Great stuff. Great stuff. And I think that's possibly where we leave.
Like there is a it's more of a here's a mutiny I prepared earlier moment later on, but that's it until we see them again. That's the last we see of them.
Let's rewind and go back to the ship and the A story then.
Let's get back to how are the crew dealing with all these pirates?
Well, barely putting up a fight. The one person who's putting up a fight apparently is Chapel, who is just John McClaning around.
Yep. Full on, love it.
Tries to send a message, can't, and then pirates come up to her, so she hyper sprays them both.
Sedates them all. A couple of close-ups. The actor that plays Chapel has got some cool tattoos, little mini tattoos. I like little tattoos, but she's got some tattoos on the finger bones on the inside of her hand,
which I understand are painful ones to do.
Oh yeah, the palm of your hand's a bastard. From what I've heard.
I don't believe they're the actresses though, because in one shot, when it goes to her and you see the pirate coming behind her, it goes from a shot where she's got a tattoo here to having no tattoo there. It does a weird jump, so her tattoo goes missing in between shots.
Oh no, I think that the tattoo on her wrist is on the right side. Tattoo on her fingers are on the left.
But on the right side, it goes from being there, and then it does a quick jump, and you see the pirate coming up behind her, and she doesn't have a tattoo there.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I was like, continuity.
Someone wasn't paying attention.
No, Mike's paying attention. Mike's spotting those tattoos. But Chapel knocks them out and goes up into the Jeffries tubes, really, which I think is the first time we've seen the old style
this
Jeffries
series.
tubes.
Yeah. Good old bloody Jeffrey tubes.
Yeah. And, those weird angle ones that just go up a ship that you normally saw Scotty in TOS. Fantastic stuff. Looked the same. Then we've got Spock and Aspen. Aspen's talking about their husband, who was killed by these pirates, and that's why they join the Federation and do humanitarian work.
They had a Vulcan husband.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm thinking, what is going on with this character? Why has this character got a Vulcan husband? We've had so much discussion about the fact that Vulcans don't have, they marry Vulcans, and then we're just getting this kind of, not so much a throwaway mention, but very casually mentioning another interspecies marriage featuring a Vulcan and a non-Vulcan.
Yeah.
So again, prick my ears up who is this person?
Prick your Vulcan ears up.
Prick my... I do have pointy ears. But maybe who, again, who is this fucking person?
Because it's certainly presented up until now that Sarek marrying a human is weird. It's his experiment. People call it marrying a human. It's
yeah, and T'Pring gets shit for marrying a human, for being engaged to a human.
Yeah.
Which which I thought was kind of a funny thing for Spock.
Yeah. But Spock gives them both phasers, and they're making their way to engineering. And in engineering, they meet up with Chapel, who's knocked out more people in engineering because she's just she's just John McClaning around the ship, as I say. Yeah. God only knows how. God only knows how. But you've got to be skilled at everything. And Chapel is skilled at some stuff as well as medical stuff.
Yeah, well, maybe that's like maybe that's what medical training's like in the future. They do defensive sedation.
Yeah. And it's not the first time we've seen the sedation being used as a weapon. I think Bones did it. I'm pretty sure the EMH did it as well.
Yes.
And probably Bev did it as well. Who knows?
Bev probably did. Yeah.
Yeah. Bashir, they just give a gun. They just hand the gun to him.
Bashir would just use a gun. Bashir would just use a gun. Yeah. Definitely.
But that gets Aspen, Spock, and Chapel into engineering, and Spock can retake the ship from there. So he puts in his command codes, retakes the ship, and moves all the control for the ship down to engineering and locks it off.
Problem solved.
But wait. Twist. What a twist.
What?
We Shyamalan this. We have a twist.
Oh my god.
Dr. Aspen takes control.
Oh no, it's a double cross.
It's a double cross.
It's a double cross.
And she's actually Captain Angel of the Serene Squall.
Captain Angel. I like that. Captain Angel, the pirate.
Yeah.
I like that. Reminds me of Anne Bonny.
Yeah.
Anne Bonny. Bonnie Anne. Anne Bonny. She was a pirate.
Yeah. But they all go up to the bridge. And we find out that the real Dr. Aspen had dumped on a comet somewhere.
Yep.
There were no colonists in the first place. And it's all been a ruse.
Yeah. This is when we get to my comparison to Batman 1966. Because the second Dr. Aspen is revealed to be Captain Angel, they immediately become like the most hammy, cackling, mustache-twirling villain that Trek has had for a while.
Yeah.
Real goofy villainry.
Yeah.
One of the aliens in this scene as well, I've just got a note here that says, Ood! Love an Ood.
Yeah.
Do you not see the sentry at the side of the turbo lift? Yeah. That's a fucking Ood.
Just needs a glowing ball to hold.
A little glowing ball, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Angel's doing the, it's your fault for believing me. And then
it's
goes
your fault for believing me.
Firing phasers. And we find that they're not even after the Enterprise, really. They're after Spock.
Yeah.
Second
they're
twist.
Double twist.
Yeah.
A double cross and then a triple double. This is at this point I'm saying like this is the most like TOS episode so far. I would say this is the most TOS episode because it is a goofy premise and it's like the way in which the story is executed is kind of confounding.
Yeah.
The logistics of it maybe don't necessarily make the most sense.
No.
But and the acting is hammy as fuck.
The fact that they almost get out of it as well with a kiss. That's that's what Kirk did every fifth episode or something like that. Just snog a robot.
I still don't know how I feel about that.
The kiss.
Yeah. We'll talk about when we get to it, but I thought it was kind of weird.
But we send her to bring a message saying we want... it was like Zavarius, I think it was. We want this prisoner. You've got him in your rehabilitation facility. We want them. So I'll swap you your husband, your life partner, for mine. Because mine is this Zavarius dude.
Yeah, whoever that is.
Yeah.
Probably another one of those emotional revolutionaries that we met a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Probably.
I was just trying to like turn Zavarius into a pun of like, oh, various people, but it's so long a reach to get from Zavarius.
I mean, who is Zavarius? Zavarius people.
Zavarius people here. Which one do you want?
Yeah.
So, some real humour was missing there from T'Pring. Like, oh, which of my various people do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've just reminded me of my favourite, again, to mention Carry On again, my favourite joke from any Carry On film is from Carry On Matron.
Yeah.
And it's when one of the characters is in disguise as a nurse, and he's presenting as a woman, and he says his name's Cyril. And the matron's like, Cyril? And as the nurse, and he goes, I mean, surreal. She goes, surreal? He goes, it's a real name.
Da-dum-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah. That classic Carry On humour there.
Yeah, man. So problematic by today's
Oh, yeah.
standards. But, like, if you can watch them without anyone else knowing, watch them.
I mean, you know, not even that. You know, we watch TOS and we understand that TOS is problematic. You know, even trying to be good. You know, things are written when they're written. And it's you can't really judge everything by today's standards. Yeah. Anyway, T'Pring goes away, or they end the message with T'Pring again. They've called T'Pring somehow. Never mind. Yeah, I'll let it annoy me. Whatever. But T'Pring comes back, and she's brought the prisoner with her. This Zavarius dude, or various dudes with her.
We don't. Yeah, she brought various dudes.
Which one do you want? There are various dudes here. And to stop, Spock cottons on to who this Zavarius is by what Angel is saying about him. And says, you know, we can't let this guy out. T'Pring, shoot the ship. She's not going to. So he does another ruse. Ruses on ruses. Of saying him and Chapel are having an affair.
Yeah, this is... I like this. This is a layered ruse. Because he's just saying this random shit.
Yeah.
We have to have an affair. The reason why T'Pring has, because earlier on, like they you know, Captain Angel mentions that like they are bonded. Spock and T'Pring are bonded in whatever like the name for the Vulcan relationship is.
Yeah.
And they say that makes Spock your responsibility. By Vulcan law, I guess that means that like T'Pring is obliged to do this prisoner exchange, but in you know, revealing his infidelity to T'Pring, T'Pring no longer has to, you know, they break off their engagement. They do like
they swipe on the iPad.
Yeah, they swipe left to say no thank you, and that is, you know, T'Pring's, I guess, Vulcan legal obligation to engage in this prisoner exchange is null and void.
Yeah.
Which is clever.
It's
again very, very Doctor Who-y.
Yeah. It's layered as well because at this point we know that Chapel has feelings for Spock and Spock is flirty with Chapel.
But Spock is an idiot. As I've said a few times, I've never said that before in my life, but in this show, because we are dealing with a lot of Spock and matters of the heart.
Yeah.
And in matters of the heart, Spock is an idiot.
Yeah.
He's a scientist and an officer in Starfleet, which he does very well at.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a boyfriend, he kind of fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And he definitely is not picking up on any of the glaring signals being thrown out by Nurse Chapel.
Don't you think? I think he is.
I don't think he's picking up on it.
I think in a scene later on, he's clearly picked up on it, and not only that, he bullet points that he's possibly feeling somewhat the same as well.
I don't know. I didn't read that.
So
but maybe.
Let me get
maybe
to...
I just do. Maybe I'm just kind of. But we'll get to that scene when we get to it. But the first thing I want to mention is the helmsman from Captain Angel's crew.
Yeah.
Is that the evil DJ from Zoolander?
I haven't looked up the cast listing, but he looks the same.
He looks like the evil DJ from Zoolander, or the lead singer from Korn.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was just be like, Captain, boom, boom, dum, boom, dum.
It's you know, there's a couple of pirates in the movies, the TOS movies, that he looks like he could slot right in, and we maybe not mention one group of them until the end, but he definitely fits into one of those groups. You know, one of them's being Khan's, but you know, not that group.
Oh man, I think doing that Korn scatting maybe expelled too much energy into the room.
It's too hot.
Oh,
it's too
so hot, Mike. It's so hot.
So yeah, gives to Pringan out, and she terminates the mating bond. She swipes left, and she goes to leave with the prisoner.
Yes.
And Captain Angel says, fire on that ship or whatever. And our heroes arrive.
Yeah. Cool moment.
Yeah.
Cool moment. Pike, I'm gonna say this once and once only.
Yeah.
Get out of my fucking chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you say, looking
on a proper captain's pirate ship with like a big wheel.
Yeah, man. Very cool.
Yeah.
Lot of fun.
And they've used their backdoor codes, which we've seen in another movie as well, to disable the weapons and the shields. Yep. Pike tells Ortegas to fire gently on the engines. Gently. So they shut off. There are no shields, no weapons, no way to run for the ship. So it's kind of done for the pirates. And Dr. Angel starts fiddling with a signaling necklace piece.
Yeah. So they beam the fuck out of there, leaving the rest of the crew, leaving all of the rest of the pirates behind, which makes me think are they the captain of this crew, or have they hired this crew?
Yeah.
Are the crew a part of this movement that they seem to be involved in? Are they...
Captain Angel definitely seems on a different level to the rest of the pirates.
Yeah, the rest of the pirates seem kind of inept. You've got fucking Remy over there keeping everyone sweet, but he's doing a terrible job.
Yeah.
When you find out that Captain Angel is the actual real captain, that's why this guy's an idiot, because he's not actually the captain.
Yeah.
But then, then Angel just fucking dips. And is Angel the real captain?
Yeah, it's a I don't think she's the real captain they're the real captain of that group of pirates. It certainly seemed like they were on a different level. Everyone else on that pirate ship is in rags, and they're in, you know, this sleek,
fucking
black
sexy,
outfit.
sleek cat suit.
Yeah.
Again, I'm saying that is definitely an intentional Catwoman reference.
Yeah.
Because of how hammy as fuck Captain Angel is and how much of a Batman villain they are. Like, it's like they were like, it's like the Riddler meets Catwoman. That's what I'm like picturing.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying the Riddler just because the Riddler was in Star Trek once. But Doctor Angel, Captain Angel, Captain Aspen, Doctor Angel.
Mm-hmm. That's where, looking back on it as well, I thought to myself, I should have pegged it, because they came in this, you know, completely black costume that's not a I would say not a counselor's costume, but also if you just turned Deanna Troy's costume black, it wouldn't be too far off, really.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, they are wearing essentially a Catwoman costume.
Yeah. But you know, they've escaped on this little warping shuttle anyway, to fight another day, to come back another day. And we go to Pike putting his log in after getting his shit back. And he
before we get back to Pike doing his log, just after fucking Dr. Aspen, Captain Angel fucks off. You know, obviously Pike has successfully carried out his mutiny to take over the pirate ship, but what do you know? The mutiny is still in progress.
Yeah.
So we need you to beam us out of there. I loved that moment. Just a nice little button on the end of the scene, just like, yeah, the mutiny's still going on, actually. Yeah. So if you could beam us out of here, that would be great, and then we can just leave them to it.
It's a good humor of it again, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Yeah, just when like the camera pulls up and there's just like guys like trying to get into the bridge and shit. It's just like, we may have taken the bridge prematurely.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good stuff. All the humor in this is great, and all the humor really resides on one side of the, in the B story. But
definitely.
That's all good.
That's and then we of course get some great dad humor.
Yeah. Pike speaking like a pirate. Una telling him to stop. Please stop.
It's just, I love that scene because it's just like, it's literally just that. Like, there's no lead into it. Like, well, Pike is like, and then, the pirate's crew, have all been placed under arrest. Yeah. But Captain Angel got away. And then just, when we find Captain Angel, we should make them walk the plank.
Yeah. Good stuff. Fantastic stuff.
Just, love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Pirate voice is now canon in Star Trek. That's a thing that people do.
Yeah. And Pike is that much of a goofball.
Yeah, man.
Personable guy. Easy guy to have as a captain.
He's doing the thing where he's ironically making a bad joke.
Yeah.
Which is my favourite kind of joke.
More than any other captain,
Yes.
No one else would be that person again.
Yeah.
But we go to Spock's quarters, and T'Pring's there and saying, she understood it was a gambit with Chapel and never believed Spock could really have feelings for her.
Spock's a nice guy.
And, that you used your human side because there's no way you'd sell the passion of the kiss without it.
Which, actually, maybe I'll take back that statement about...
Well, we're nearly to it, mate.
This passionate Vulcan lovemaking.
Spock says...
Maybe it is.
Spock says, "You know me well," to T'Pring on that. And then they, go off and fuck, really.
Yeah, so maybe we should... What is it? A re-engagement...
Rebonding ritual.
A rebonding ritual.
Yeah. Lovely
How about
stuff.
if you I've had a few rebonding rituals.
But then Spock goes down to visit Chapel, thanks her, and, Chapel's...
Well, yeah, he's got that post rebonding ritual clarity.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, I know exactly what I want to say to her.
Yeah.
I've got all the bad thoughts out. Now I'll go and deal with the issue.
Yeah. And Chapel's all on the, we don't have to talk about it. I said I liked Vulcans, and, because they're truthful. You're an honest man. You're not going to hit up another woman. So I knew there's no feelings between us.
And so you get the reading in that scene that Spock...
It's the next line that gives me the scene, mate. Spock says to her, "You know me well." He says the same thing.
No.
So he says to T'Pring, "You know me well," and then Chapel, it's "You also know me well."
Oh shit! Oh.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Maybe.
There's
me thinking he's just not getting it.
Yeah.
Oh.
But that's where I'm like, I reckon, because Spock has flirted with Chapel in the 2 episodes that they've really been together.
He has.
And then he says to his bonded mate or whatever, you know me well, and that's part of, why I'm together with you, I'm bonded with you. And then he says to Chapel, you know me well as well. So I'm like, we know it's not going to happen. Or can't for a long time. Could always happen for a season or 2, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah.
Man, there's me thinking he's just not getting it.
No. Well, he might not be getting how deep Chapel is into it. But I definitely feel like he gets that, he has feelings, or he has something for Chapel as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, from that we move to the final twist of the episode.
Yes. Who the fuck is Tavarius? I've got it written here.
Tavarius.
Who the fuck is Tavarius?
So Spock starts telling Chapel about, Sarek had a child out of wedlock, which I don't think we had confirmed before. And that child didn't embrace logic. And his name was Sybok.
Fucking Sybok!
Yeah.
Sybok from Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, the worst Star Trek film.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Probably. And we get to see, just the side of him and his beard and his long
the old
hair and stuff
Thanos.
like that.
Yeah, someone just came in and said that Spock courts death.
Yeah.
Thanos is like, ugh. But it's Sybok.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So so do you think that the fact that we didn't fully see his face is going to be like...
I think it means it's not cast.
It's not cast.
Yeah.
We're not going to get him. Ooh, maybe.
Or not cast yet, but I do think he's going to
yet.
come back because he's in this, rehabilitation facility, this prison. And we've got his mate, or they say that the Sybok's mate, not Captain
Angel.
Out on the loose.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think next season there's going to be another attempt, and then maybe we will see a Sybok who is cast then. I don't think they've cast him.
Yeah, maybe. So do we think that these I'm thinking that these pirates were basically like mercenaries they've been hired on for this job.
Yeah.
But do you think that they were maybe part of the movement? Because I'm guessing that Sybok and the guy from a couple episodes ago that Spock / T'Pring clocked.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're part of the same movement. Like the
don't
polar,
even
you know,
know.
you had the logic extremists, meant you know that we saw once or twice in Discovery. Maybe there is
Yeah.
a you know on the other end of the spectrum you know an emotional revolution.
Quite possibly. I just took it as there are some Vulcans, because this isn't a new facility, I don't think, for getting them to re-embrace logic. I just took it as, you know, there's some that don't embrace logic or have a falling out with logic, and Cyborg just never embraced it at all. Whereas the guy that they picked up in Spock and Muck was almost trying to come back into the fold because he set up that meeting with T'Pring.
Well, yeah, that happens, you know,
Yeah.
with people who are in, you know,
Cults.
extremist movements, you know, cults,
Yeah.
people who are in cults, people who are in extremist movements. You know, they do end up making like deals to, you know, when they get sort of collared.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of, you know, but like I don't know, it's kind of the whole thing of the rehabilitation center and of Cybok being a revolutionary. It's really putting like a real kind of totalitarian fucking spin on Vulcans, which we already saw in like in Enterprise. We saw a lot of
Yeah.
sort of fundamentalism, you know, Vulcan fundamentalism.
And,
You
and
know,
we
and
know that there's been spin-offs of Vulcans before who went
You know,
non-logical and then survived.
Yeah, the Romulans,
Yeah.
Romulans, you know, they you know, they started off as a breakaway faction. But like you know, I say that like this rehabilitation center for criminals is ethical, but if this rehabilitation center is mostly just geared around getting people with radical ideas to fall in line with the status quo,
Yeah.
then there's actually a lot of really fucking problematic bullshit connected to that. You know, how fucking entrenched in McCarthyism is Vulcan?
Yeah.
You know, how much are they just hunting down fucking communists?
Yeah. If you have a favourite colour, do you have to go to the rehabilitation facility? You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and what if your favorite color's red?
Yeah. Damn
You
commies.
fucking commie.
Yeah.
Fucking commies. But yeah, it's I feel like if we don't come back to this thread again in this season, then this is, you know, this episode and Spock and Mark are definitely planting seeds for my favorite thing in Star Trek, which is nuance.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I think we're feeling the seeds being planted for an allegory of extremism.
Yeah.
You know, and the way that extremism on both ends of the political spectrum can be problematic.
Yeah.
We don't get that so much in this episode or in that episode, but I feel like the seeds are being planted for that episode to come.
For all we know, they close down. This arc is going to get to the point where they close down the rehabilitation facility and just let Cybok out, rather than have a Cybok episode.
And I guess when Cybok is out, he just immediately goes looking for Shakari.
Yeah. He goes out to share people's pain, and you know, I very much doubt. I think there might be hints towards Shakari and the sharing pain stuff, but I don't think we'll get there, because I think the more you do, the more it diminishes Star Trek V.
Oh no!
Why would you ever want to diminish it?
Don't diminish Star Trek V.
Yeah.
Written and directed by William Shatner.
Cat ladies with 3 tits, you know.
Cat ladies with 3 tits.
But this series has the opportunity.
70-year-old Nichelle Nichols dancing around naked.
Yeah. But this series has the potential to do to Star Trek V the same way that Endgame did to For the Dark World, in that make it a better movie by its...
Add depth.
Yeah.
Retroactively retcon depth into that film.
Yeah. And as long as you don't have Kirk or Bones... I was trying to work it through. As long as you don't have Kirk, Bones meet Cyborg, then I think for the most part you stay out of bumping into canon that much. Which
I hazard. I say I might have to watch The Final Frontier, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna check it out on Memory Alpha. Whether or not it's explicitly said whether or not Spock and Cyborg haven't hung out.
Yeah, as I say, the only piece I can remember, and I will rewatch it at some point soon, is that Kirk and Bones don't know who Cyborg is by looking at him. Which...
Yeah, but I mean, like that's a thing that I've definitely mentioned before about Vulcans. Like Vulcans don't just disclose information.
Yeah.
You know, you have to specifically ask them. We don't know that Sarek is Spock's dad until the end of the first scene that we see him in, because someone asks if they know each other.
Yeah.
Like, it's not information that is just offered, you know?
And it helps make the Michael stuff work better, because of course he's not going to say that I had a sister who died in the Federation.
Because one, it's classified, and two, you never asked, Jim. You only talk about yourself.
You book nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can definitely believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good episode, though. Good episode.
All in all, fun episode. Low stakes. Not much depth. The deepest moments that we get in the episode are just that they're moments, you know.
Yeah.
Captain Angel talking about referring to the Spock's sort of racial non-binary-ness.
Which plays more when you know that they are, you know, mates with or bonded or whatever with Cyborg. They're saying to Spock, you're deciding between living as a human or living as a Vulcan. I know someone who doesn't live as either, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have obviously little flecks of talking about. Well, again, like that is it. That's it in terms of deeper meanings.
Yeah. Can I talk about something that let's get your view on, because I last year I read all the Bond books because I wanted to punish myself, and I read Casino Royale and it was nice, so I decided to read them all, and they're not all nice, unsurprisingly. And in the Bond books, anyone who isn't, who doesn't identify as cis or whatever is the bad guy, and not, you know, anyone who's disabled as well, really. Anyone who's not, looking like Ian Fleming, really. And when I'd forgotten about Grey, and Adira, I was thinking to myself, I don't particularly like that the first trans actor in Star Trek is the bad guy, because then it leans into, they're a deviant of some sort.
Yes. Yeah, there is definitely that reading to be taken, and I think that's kind of fair. I would imagine that there's going to be a large portion of the audience that aren't happy with this.
Yeah. Well, for multiple reasons, for the bad reason and the less bad reason.
And like and it happens in the thing that I notice more is like in anime and like Japanese TV shows, even live action. Like a lot of villains are queer coded.
Yeah.
Where it's just like it's not explicitly said, but that's clearly what they're implying.
Yeah.
That this person is a villain and is queer. And I think that with this there is definitely that's somewhat problematic.
Yeah, and because I'm bouncing off myself because I really thought Jesse James Keitel was really good in both sides of the role.
Yeah, they played a convincing, caring counselor to a point that it got a bit obnoxious, and then I was like, "There's something up there."
Yeah.
And then they played a wonderful mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
But I think that the way that this is going to sort of get through that issue is maybe in the reveal later on down the line, which is that like this person maybe isn't like a villain so much as they are an anti-hero, because it's implied that they are part of a political movement, which Cyborg is a part of. So there's definitely going to be a lot of negative criticism about them using this actor and this character as a villain. But I think that there is still room to kind of correct that and say, like, maybe they're not a villain. Maybe they're an anti-hero. They're a political idealist.
Yeah. I suppose they could even say...
a collaborator, a push.
I suppose they could even say that they were... they would lose a bit of urgency through it, but they were not mind-controlled, but influenced by Cyborg.
Potentially.
Lose a bit of urgency in the character, but it's if you want to go that way, it works if you want to rehabilitate them slightly as a character. But yeah, that's the only point I had on that. Because I only just last year I finished rereading those Bond books, as I say, and it was glaring and painful reading them as a 21st century reader.
Queer coded villains is definitely a common thing, but I think that they there's room for them to add depth.
Yeah,
that's how you get around stuff like that. The in Discovery last year there was some people had some issues with. There was a character where Michael and Book go down to a prison planet. One of the main actors is a Native American man. There was a lot of people that felt a bit squicky about because Star Trek has not necessarily handled Native American representation very well in the past.
Akuchi Moye.
And then Akuchi Moye.
Yeah.
That episode of TOS where Jim Kirk becomes a Native American.
That
the Native American
TNG where they relocate
in TNG.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then they have him in this guy in Discovery, and he's playing a prisoner in a prison who killed someone. But I think the way that they got around that is by adding depth to that character and making that character an honourable person who, had made a mistake and was willing to pay for that mistake.
Yeah.
So they, the way you get around misuse of representation is, I guess, by adding depth to it.
Yeah. No, fair point. Yeah. You have anything else on the episode?
I said the thing about the Zoolander DJ, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, all in all, I don't have much to say on this episode. It was a good, fun episode. More representation for queer folks and trans folks and non-binary folks. And definitely, in spite of, this non-binary character being used as a villain, I still say it's better representation of non-binariness than the non-binary episode of TNG or the cogenitor episode of Enterprise, just because it showed a fully fleshed out character.
Yeah. They had something to them other than their
gender. We have talked about their gender more than their
yeah.
gender is addressed in the episode. Like, I don't think their agenda, their agenda, the gay agenda.
Yeah.
No, I don't think their agenda. Fucking hell.
Their gender. I'll do one correcting of you to help you out after you.
Their agenda is to get Cyborg out of prison. Their gender is not addressed.
Yeah.
In the episode, so.
Yeah, they're not from a race as well that is presented as you know, everyone in this race. You know, it's a monoculture where everyone is non-binary, because that takes away from the character as well. That they would just be, you know, they're just off an assembly lot, really. The same as
exactly.
the Klingons are all this, and you know, the Ferengi are all after money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because people, like, you know, trans people, gay people, people of color, they actually don't like talking about that thing. That they don't like talking about it as though that's the thing that defines them.
Yeah.
That's why Google even made a bunch of adverts that featured people Googling questions about that stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's what Google's for. You don't need to ask a trans person what it's like to be trans. You don't need to ask a trans person how pronouns work. You don't need to ask black people where they're from. You don't need to ask Indian women which is the example I can think of from the Google adverts. What does henna mean? You can just Google it. You don't need to draw attention to people's. You don't need to make people feel othered.
Yeah.
You don't need to draw attention to the thing that you feel sets them apart from everyone else, because that just others them.
In the same way, you wouldn't go up to people in the street and say, "What's it like having like that sort of nose? You know, your massive fucking nose on you. What's it like?" You know, you just wouldn't do it. It's rude to do.
No.
And especially for a peoples that, you know, get that often. And are seen as the other a lot.
Yeah, you don't ask. Most guys don't ask women what it's like to be a woman, because as we already know from, you know, living in a terrible world, that it's terrifying.
Yeah. And what can the answer be other than, you know, what do you think it's like?
Google it. That's, you know, the answer. Google it.
Yeah.
Fucking Google it.
Yeah. Anyway, do we want to do episode rankings?
Sure. I'll put this at the bottom just because it was like,
Really?
like it was, just obviously, as I've already said, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. It wasn't the deepest episode. It had the lowest stakes.
Yeah.
It had the most aliens. You know, it had an Ood.
Yeah.
It had an Orion. It had, I think, a Lathian. He had seconds. He's the one who had the second helping. Yeah. He was Lathian. But yeah, like I would say, I'll put this at the bottom. I still enjoyed this episode more than there are a great deal of episodes of Star Trek that I enjoyed less than this episode.
Yeah.
But in terms of Strange New Worlds, so far this episode is 7 out of 7.
Okay. I've got it. So I've rearranged mine from last time, because the more I think about Spock and Muck, the higher it goes in the list. Really. And this isn't that far down, really. So I do Memento Mori again, because it's not going to shift off my top spot, I don't think. Spock and Muck, second place now, up from second to last place. Strange New Worlds.
Wow.
Then I put this episode, and then I put Children of the Comet, Ghost of Valyria, and the really long title one. Lifters were blah 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 blah. Yeah.
I'd say this is probably joint with Ghost of Valyria. Joint. Maybe.
I'm losing you there for a second.
Maybe. Maybe. Do you know what? I'm gonna stick with 7 for now. When we get to the end of the series, I'm gonna be able to look at them all and go, okay.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, for now I'll stick with that. 7 out of 7 episodes.
Yeah. Cool. Did you see the trailer for next week?
I did. What did I see in the? I saw the preview scene. Yeah.
The Mbenga scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm guessing. I hope. I mean, we better get some fucking Hemmer. But I know that there's a clip in the preview for the season where Hemmer and Mbenga are both wearing what I thought was some sort of local cultural dress. But I now can see, I think it's in next week's episode.
Excellent.
So I think we're getting some Hemmer.
Thank Christ.
And we're also getting some weird Mind Palace shit.
Yeah. It felt a bit Trelawney to me, the dress up.
Period
stuff.
dress.
Yeah.
So yeah. So in the preview for next week's episode, Mbenga is called up to the bridge because Una's banged her head. And then when he gets up there, it's all Renaissance-y.
Yeah.
And he's the king.
Weird. But weird's good. Weird's TOS.
Yeah, especially because like they're still on the bridge. Like there's curtains and wall hangings and shit everywhere, but there's the bridge and shit behind it.
Yeah.
And you can still see some of the railings and shit. So like this weird high strangeness. I love high strangeness.
That and making use of sets, bottle episode chance.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. No.
High strangeness.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to Hemmer eventually showing up. I'm my new theory, because I come up with one eventually, don't I? Is I reckon we're going to finale and have Kirk and have a different Federation ship.
I think Kirk. I think that's a. I still think we're getting a time travel episode.
Okay.
That might be the finale. That's what I think that is. I think that it's a time travel episode.
Yeah.
I think La'an is gonna step out of her quarters, and it's 8 years in the future or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But we know he's in season 2, but I think we're gonna leave season 1, even if. Because my theory for it originally was there's going to be Federation ship and Kirk's going to be on it. I'm half and half that and half whether it's going to be, do you know the end of season 1 of Discovery where they go, there's a ship coming in and its registry is 17. Yeah.
But we have had the sort of behind the scenes shot with La'an and Kirk.
Have we for season 1?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I could see a ship coming in at the end of this season for the last scene, and them going to the view screen, and it's Kirk. So that's my grand theory now. We'll see how wrong I am.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There'll be a fun little moment between Sam Kirk will be on the bridge of the Enterprise.
Yeah, with his goofy ass moustache.
He'll come in on the view screen and be like, Sam, what the fuck is that on your face?
Yeah. We didn't even have to do for this episode how did Sam Kirk injure himself, because we can just presume the pirates shot him.
Yeah, the pirates beat the living shit out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shaved him. They beat him up and shaved him.
They tortured him and shaved his face.
Yeah.
No!
Not the moustache. That's the only thing that differs me from my brother. Yeah.
not my moustache. That's my personality.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Sam Kirk. Yeah. But if we don't have any more on this episode?
2 hours later.
Nope.
No. That was a million-hour pause. I just edited out. I went away for a coffee. I had a nap. I woke up again.
I have ADHD. I started thinking about something else. And then I came back down to earth.
Yeah. Okay then. Then shall we say goodbye?
Shall we say goodbye?
Yeah.
Yeah. I usually relate the moral of the episode back to this episode of this show. But for this episode, I just want to end with a piece of advice that I think would work very well. If you are at any time riding into battle, don't wear gold. Don't wear a full suit of gold armor. Don't have lights on your shoulders that provide a perfect reticle by which a sniper can blow your head off. But if you have to do both of those things, then accenting that outfit with a nice gold apron.
And a
could
fantastic
maybe work.
haircut.
Yeah, maybe you can make it work.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Right.
Live long and prosper, motherfuckers.
Peace and long life, double dumbasses.
Double dumbass on you.
Double dumbass on you, sir.